So before I begin, let me just make it very clear for the record that this in no way is entitled or intended for any copyright infringements of any set books written or sold or any of that good, wonderful stuff. Now, there is a book that is coming out onto the market, onto Amazon, and I'm sure probably a bunch of other places. But it's a book that's called Things Your Pastor Wants to Say But Can't. Well, I've entitled this Things That Your Pastor Wants to Say But Won't. And I bring that up because we live in a time where things are highly sensitive, and any little slip, or what they used to call the Freudian slip or flip, people run out and they make mountains out of molehills. I mean, people have no problem running around screaming at the top of their lungs, claiming, you know, homophobia, racism, bigotry. And that, of course, leads to things like, subpoenas in court and going to court and being sued for defamation of character or slander or racism or homophobia, all in the good hopes that, they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Their cries will earn them some kind of a financial compensation. So what people tend to do is they don't speak up and they don't speak out on on subject matters. They're afraid to touch it with the 10-foot pole. And some of the worst people that are guilty are the ones that stand at the pulpit and they say, I, as your pastor, love you. I, as your pastor, wants to be here to help guide you. But please, whatever you do, don't ever misconstrue my words. Don't ever misconstrue my words. Because that's never my intention. My intention is to never make you, quote unquote, feel bad and lay down such a tremendous guilt trip about things that in your life you're doing wrong. You know it very well. But you put it up on a back burner. Or you put it in a way that makes it seem easier to digest. Well, it was only one small, teeny tiny little white lie. And I can get away with that because, you see, I am an adult. And so, I'm allowed to have that, you know, little slip up. But you as the child, no, you're not allowed to have that little slip up. And kids grow up conflicted and they are confused. If mommy and daddy say something, it's because you needed to hear it. Let's say you catch your kid, you know, using his and or her, her crayons, right, to write and paint all over the wall. Now, you know, you now have to explain to that child why it's wrong. Because they're not the ones that have to pay for the, reworking of the damage. You as the parent must, you know, pay to work off the damage. So if you've got to have that piece of the wall that they've decided to mark up, if that has to be removed and you have to put new drywall in, then are you going to go to work and let's say, work 60 hours just so that you can pay a carpenter to come in or somebody who's an expert in drywall repair to actually physically clean the wall or remove a portion of the wall so that they can put in a new piece of the wall? And of course, the answer is no, no. So you say, all right, all right, all right, all right. We're not going to write on the wall. Now you may say, but my dad spanked me, or my mom spanked me and sent me to bed without my dinner. And kids, you know, they don't understand specific things. just like if they catch two adults talking to each other and one starts bad mouthing the other one, and they make up all these major mondo lies about the other individual. And they say, "Oh well, I heard you say this about this person, and I heard you say that about that person." And then they go and they regurgitate what they hear, you know. And again, you have to put the brakes on and remember that, it applies. It applies to you. Little do you know, but it applies to you. And again, you can't use the common excuse of it's an okay, it's okay because I'm an adult argument. You know, I mean, kids are not, what's the word? They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They're very inquisitive. Now, you may think, well, what does that have to do with these pulpit so called, end quote, pastors? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because demographically, it keeps people coming back. It keeps people liking you. They like listening to what you say because you don't hurt their feelings. And because you don't hurt their feelings, they're willing to go and they're willing to bring their friends, and then their friends want to bring their friends, and then those friends want to bring another set of friends. And before you know it, you start filling things up. And this is more of an opportunity to pass around the charity basket. You say, well, what does that mean? Fill up the charity basket. I mean that, you can be like some places where they have three, maybe even four opportunities where they pass around the baskets and look for people to, you know, donate money to the church. They sit back and they say, well, this is called the time of offering. We're offering. Well, what exactly are you offering? You're offering to lift money out of their wallet to make them lighter in the wallet. To keep your doors open. And you say, well, what's wrong with that? That's not the purpose of the you know the designed modern day church. It wasn't about sensitivity. It was about no nonsense, stick to your guns. And if they wanted to run off and they want to, they want to be all butthurt over what they hear, let them. See, I don't know about you, but you see, I'm tired of people running around and crying wolf. I really am. I'm tired of people, you know, crying out for no apparent reason. And people being completely and totally coddled where they don't learn their lesson. And they just think it's a free license to go out and do it again. Why? Because nobody stands there in the gap and says, wait a minute, whoa, time out, buddy, that's wrong. Like these women that go out, and they have sex before marriage. And you say, huh? Wow, wait a minute. Hold on. Are you saying sex before marriage is against the rules? That's exactly what I'm saying. It's against the rules. But you see, the guy standing at the pulpit or the female standing at the pulpit, or whomever is standing there, isn't telling you all that proper information. They're not giving you all that you need to know. So what do? They leave and they go out and they do what they want and they find other hot spots where you know that type of conversation does not come into play. Because you see, we can hang our LBGTQ flags outside. We can hang up our you know Black Lives Matter signs on the front lawn. We can say that we stand for equality and we are against bigotry, and you know we stand united. And what I say is, you're just coddling the crap out of these people. Now I know several people who serving in ministry in the church. And both just happen to be a homosexual. One's allowed to be a what they call a sexton of the church. The church pays him, he does the work, blah blah blah. Right? And here's the catch. He's allowed to have a men's group. And he can talk freely and he can talk candidly to these men at this group. And he doesn't need to open his mouth and watch diarrhea spill from his mouth. He's very selective of what he says when he's standing there and he's attempting to make a presentation. Now another one, serves. I don't know if it's in a Lutheran church or Episcopalian or Catholic or I mean, to me they're all one and the same. But anyway. Basically, he's allowed to get up there, pray for people. He can perform a sermon if that's being led to his heart or whatever. I mean, as long as he gets the A-OK from the head pastor, as long as he gets the green light from the boss, he can do it. I better redo this.